Happy Pride Month, everyone, and Men's Mental Health Month as well. Today, we're talking about men's mental health, if you couldn't tell. So before we start, have you told your brother you love him today? Have you told guys in your life that they can lean on you? Have you talked to your dad? Have you talked to any of your male cousins? Because if not, go do it now! Anyway, I saw an interesting post a few weeks ago about Men's Mental Health Month. So let's talk about this. People are so concerned about Pride Month that they forget about Men's Mental Health Month. This is a sentiment I keep hearing, and if I see another post like this, I'm actually going to go insane. If you're so concerned with only bringing up Men's Mental Health Month when you can use it against marginalized groups, then you probably don't care as much as you say you do. If you actually cared, you wouldn't be putting others down. You would be too busy contributing to your community. If Men's Mental Health Month mattered to you, you would recognize that the LGBTQ community has a lot of queer men who are also talking about men's mental health, and not just during June. Men's mental health is very important to me. I want to listen and understand men when they talk to me about their problems, and I do my best to contribute to the men in my life as well. I very much recognize and empathize if you as a man participate in things like therapy or simply vocalizing your emotions, you're seen as weak or not man enough or too feminine. And I know this is a generational trauma that conditions men to have the idea that manliness is just sucking it up, just dealing with it and never letting anyone see you as weak. Quite a few men are raised being told to man up. So if nobody's told you today, your worth is not based on how tough you are, or how manly you need to be, but how kind you can be, how much you can treat others with respect. You are so worthy of being loved. Be kind, love others, respect others around you, and you'll find that respect comes back to you. Find small things that make you happy. Legos, music, finding creative outlets. Build something. But Men's Mental Health Month can't and won't be recognized if you only bring it up when Pride Month is mentioned, and if you only talk about it during June. Pride Month isn't Pride Month because straight people were celebrating for them, and certainly not because they only worked for it in June. It's always a year-long project, and it took years for it to be recognized. LGBTQ made and organized Pride Month, and it's celebrated regardless if cis straight people do. So instead of using Men's Mental Health Month as a counter argument, take Pride Month as an example of how to get recognition for Men's Mental Health Month. Only bringing men's mental health up during Pride Month conversations makes it seem like you want to invalidate other movements and does nothing for men's mental health, and only invalidates men's mental health even if that's not the intention. So go out and make other men's lives brighter. Build more emotional connections. Because queer people do this every day, not just for Pride Month. They're just celebrating the loudest on Pride Month. Go out and start a fundraiser. Maybe host a cookout. Whatever it is, go and build connections. Leaving some links in the description for activities you can do if you want to help spread Men's Mental Health Month around. I often see people bring up the fact that women also reinforce toxic standards for men as well. And I totally agree. Mothers who tell their young boys to man up or invalidate their feelings have and still exist to this day. I like to believe it's a lot less, but they still do exist. And I believe it doesn't help. So if you're a femme-presenting person and you still think it's okay to say these things and invalidate the men around you, you are also the problem. If you think that men can't have mental health issues, you are also the problem. If you think men don't suffer under patriarchy, you are also the problem. Do some reflection and learn to see men as people too. And I admit, I probably said some bullshit like that when I was younger, probably when I was like 10. So I'm not immune to bad ideology. Definitely learned how wrong it is, and I refuse to let anyone in my life think I feel that way. Another thing that pisses me off about these posts is that people think Pride Month overshadows Men's Mental Health Month. But I hate to break it to you, but queer men exist, and queer men have mental health issues. The LGBTQ has been a big supporter of mental health in general. But I guess a lot of the people in these posts kind of forget that queer men exist, because a lot of times in society we forget that queer men exist anyway. So I'm gonna say it loud and clear for people to understand. You can celebrate Pride Month and Men's Mental Health Month at the same time because they have a shared demographic. But to end this video, I'm going to talk about people in my life that I care about. I have 2 brothers. One cis, one trans. They both have mental health issues. If you look around, most men have dealt with some form of mental health issues in their lives. My boyfriend has a long history of anger and still suffers with some anxieties. My dad has a long list of traumas that he has suffered through. My coworker has depression and extreme anxiety. I can sit here and list a ton of things, but it means nothing if I'm not recognizing these things all the time. If I'm not letting them know I'm there for them, do I actually care? If I only recognize these things during Men's Mental Health Month, do I actually think their emotions are valid? Or is it just to be performative? My brothers know they can come to me for anything because I listen to them and I do care about their mental health. My dad knows I will listen to him and I will continue to encourage him to go to therapy. My guy friends know I will never put them down for having emotions and expressing them to me. And my boyfriend knows his boundaries are respected, especially because he has a super stressful job, and that his emotions are always valid, even if we're in an argument. Queer men are some of the most open about their mental health, mostly because the LGBTQ community is very open to mental health struggles. You don't have to be queer to be open about your mental health. There are plenty of things you can do for your fellow men, regardless if you're not queer. I've linked a bunch of resources in the description if you guys are actually interested in this topic. Anyway, you're loved, and I hope you can find people who love and respect you just the way you are. Go tell someone they're valid and get off Twitter. So, you should read it.